trigger you?
No. I have CPTSD. I don't think that reading a comment online triggers me.
Really? You seem really triggered. I want to trigger you.
You want to make me feel re-traumatized by a past traumatizing experience that I've had? Amberlyn re-triggered my sleep paralysis demon. Things that get everyone triggered. It's hilarious, isn't it? If you get off on making people triggered, I gotta start looking at you like you're just a bad person. You're not a good person. Hello everyone, how are you all doing today? For those that don't know me, my name is Beth, or Queen of Spade. Please do give the video a like, subscribe if you're new. I also open up memberships, so make sure that you go and check those out. People seem to really like the $4.99 option. I gave you guys a cheaper one. Anyway, today I wanted to do a special little video. I realized that my witches video was supposed to be out today, and it will be out on Tuesday. I got something planned for it. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has been bothering me out here for a long time. I've brought it up several times in the past, and I decided that today I would actually do a full video on it. Today I want to talk to the internet about how they've all been making fun of my mental health for years, spreading misinformation, and using triggered as a buzzword. Why is this harmful? And why I want y'all to stop. When I type the word triggered into YouTube, after some music videos, a couple of story times, a couple people talking about their mental health experiences, we come down to this. Top 10 people getting triggered in public. Triggered feminists compilation. Amberlyn re-triggered my sleep paralysis demon. Feminist triggered instant karma. Feminist triggered full. SJW triggered. SJW triggered. Top 5 extreme live stream fails featuring triggered insane, because apparently that's a name. Oh, there he is. Huh. Interesting. We have a whole dude that has capitalized off of my mental health disorder as a buzzword. Cool. Feminist triggered. Things that get everyone triggered. It's hilarious, isn't it? I swear, every single day I log on the internet, there's more and more people that seem to think that being triggered means being an upset Karen at the store and asking to speak to the manager, then having a flip out, or being someone that reads something that they don't like on the internet and they get upset over it. If you get off on making people triggered, I gotta start looking at you like you're just a bad person, because I'm about to explain to you what being triggered actually is. And if you leave this video thinking that that's something that you actually want to put people through out here, again, I'm looking at you as a real bad person, okay? I'm hoping that this video brings some awareness to the world about what being triggered truly means. Because as someone with a trauma disorder, it can get incredibly annoying if I respond to a comment online of someone being cruel to me, for example, and then they come back with, "Did I trigger you?" No. I have CPTSD. I don't think that reading a comment online triggers me.
Really? You seem really triggered. I want to trigger you.
You want to make me feel re-traumatized by a past traumatizing experience that I've had? Do you see how gross that is? No? Okay, let me explain it to you further. What does it mean to be triggered? This term has been casually used to refer to the experience of having an emotional reaction to some type of disturbing content, such as violence or the mention of hurting yourself, in the media or in another social setting. However, there is a difference between being triggered and being uncomfortable, not liking something on the internet that you see, not liking a comment you receive. These are very different things. Feeling triggered isn't just about something rubbing you the wrong way. For someone with a history of trauma, especially a trauma disorder, being around anything that reminds them of a traumatic experience, also known as a trigger, can make them feel like they're experiencing the trauma all over again. And the best part about this is that it really does feel like that. And then you have people telling you to stop playing victim while you're experiencing your trauma all over again. The trauma that victimized you, by the way. Though commonly used to refer to the experience of people with post-traumatic stress disorder, the term trigger can also be used in the context of other mental health illnesses. This includes substance use disorders, eating disorders, and anxiety. So every time that you are misusing this word, by the way, you are spreading misinformation around and helping add stigma to every single person in the world who has ever suffered from trauma, substance abuse, anxiety. In these cases, a trigger is seen as anything that prompts an increase or return of symptoms. For example, a person recovering from a substance use disorder may be triggered by seeing someone using their drug of choice. The experience may cause return cravings and even relapse. I've seen a lot of people out here even advocate for people relapsing. It's very interesting. Types of triggers. Triggers vary widely from person to person and can be either internal or external. Below are examples of the different kinds of events that might be considered triggers in terms of mental health problems. Internal. An internal trigger comes from within the person. It can be a memory, a physical sensation, or even an emotion. There are emotional triggers. For example, say you're exercising and your heart starts pounding. That sensation might remind you of a time you were running from an abusive partner. That would be considered an internal trigger. Other common internal triggers include anger, anxiety, feeling overwhelmed, vulnerable, abandoned, or out of control. It's one of mine. Loneliness, muscle tension, memories tied to a traumatic event, as in flashbacks, pain and sadness, or straight up depression. External. External triggers come from the environment. They can be a person, place, or a specific situation. However, someone recovering from binge eating disorder, a disease that thrives in isolation, may feel triggered under such circumstances, such as being in this pandemic and being in lockdown. Some other common things that may cause a person to feel triggered are a movie, television show, or news article that reminds you of the experience. A person connected to the experience. Arguing with a friend, spouse, or partner. A specific time of day. For me, it's specific dates. I have days that trigger me. Certain sounds that remind you of the experience. A military veteran might get triggered by loud noises that sound like gunfire, such as fireworks, which is why when it's fireworks season, it's very important that you think of animals and that you think of veterans and people with trauma disorders. Changes to relationships or ending a relationship. Significant dates. Again, that's one of mine. Going to a specific location that reminds them of the experience, or smells associated with the experience, such as smoke. For me, it's a type of cologne. There's one certain cologne that is, if I smell it, even if someone's just walking by me in public with it, it gives me like a trigger. I have to take myself out. How triggers are formed. We don't know precisely how triggers are formed. Some researchers believe that our brains store memories from a traumatic event differently from memories of a non-traumatic event. Makes sense, right? Past traumatic events may be interpreted by the brain as current. When you're in a triggered state, it feels like you're going through it again. Sometimes you will even feel physical body sensations of it happening to you again. I've had times where I have been triggered from a past sexual assault, and I will feel the person's body on me. Even though they're not there, I will feel like I am actually going through that experience again. And this is why being triggered is not a fun thing to put someone through. This causes the body to experience symptoms similar to the original trauma, such as the fight or flight response. And many of us that have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, we just live life in a fight or flight response permanently. We also know that triggers can cause an emotional reaction before a person realizes why they have become upset. Sometimes I don't even know. It takes me a little while to realize what it is that has me upset from my past. Often triggers have a strong sensory connection, a sight, sound, taste, or smell, or are connected in some way to a deeply ingrained habit. For example, a recovering alcoholic who associates a particular activity with drinking. Some refer to this as trauma coupling, where a trigger is connected to a traumatic experience, causing you to relive symptoms. Are trigger warnings helpful? It's kind of up to debate. A lot of people do think that they're very helpful. A lot of people think that they're not. Part of my personal recovery has been to introduce myself to triggers in safe environments in order to kind of like get myself used to it. So for me, it's good to have the warning. How to cope with triggers. Sometimes it is reasonable to try to avoid triggering situations. However, if avoiding possible triggers hinders your ability to function, you should seek help. Learning to cope with triggers you can't anticipate or avoid requires emotional processing, which is most often aided by therapy. I highly recommend that. The following are a few effective, healthy coping strategies for lessening the impact of triggers. Calling on your social support, deep breathing, exercises, expressive writing. Keep a journal, mindfulness, meditation. Empower yourself by preparing to cope with triggers. Become aware of signs in your body that you're reacting to a trigger, such as changes in your breathing, so you can learn how to calm yourself down and shift your emotional state. Your ultimate goal should be to detach yourself from the trigger, recenter, and focus on your coping strategy. If you regularly feel triggered and are unable to cope with various situations or feelings that arise in your mind or body, it is important to make an appointment with a doctor or mental health professional to discuss your symptoms. Please always make appointments with doctors, psychologists, people that have their masters in social work, psychiatrists. Do not just Google things and then diagnose yourself. Don't do that. Took me years of going to counseling before I was even properly diagnosed. Sometimes it is impossible to ignore triggers. Sometimes people like to bring triggers to you to try and upset you. The best thing that you can do in that situation is fight through it on your own. Learn what triggers you. Like they said in the article, find out what... Damn it, fruit fly! Don't buy a lot of fruit, okay? I got fruit flies now. I just don't even want to talk about it. So make sure that you get the help that you need. I have a doctor that I go to. I'm on medication, and I also seek therapy at the same time. You can be taking all the medication in the world, be seeing all the therapists and doctors in the world, and some things will always trigger you. There are certain situations that always trigger me. There are certain people that will always trigger me. So I try to stay away from it. And them. Sometimes they don't want to stay away from me, but whatever. My point of this video is to also say, like, this is not a fun thing to put someone through. It should never be a goal for people to try to trigger somebody. If you're out here going around trying to make people feel the way I just read about, you're kind of a gross human. I don't know how you could feel okay with re-traumatizing someone, which is really what that is, and then claim you're a good person. If it's your goal to re-traumatize someone, you're not a good person. Triggered should no longer be a buzzword. I'm getting sick of it. I know a lot of other people that are getting sick of it. And it makes it so that when someone like me actually experiences a real trigger, like someone saying they're going to harm themselves, when we speak out in that moment and we say, listen, I have a trauma disorder, this has been triggering to me, I need to step away, people don't take us seriously. I experience this all the time. I had a situation last year where someone told me that they were going to harm themselves. When I tried to step away from the situation, the other people, instead of realizing that I was being self-aware and trying to let them know that this was not a situation I should be in, I had to step away, I had to stop talking to this person, they tried to turn it into me playing victim, me making it about myself, and all this other stuff, instead of realizing that I have a trauma disorder. I had experienced harming myself just months before, and it was not a situation that I could emotionally and mentally handle. And I've literally had people making fun of this for like a year now. And so to me, understanding what this is and what you're actually going to put somebody through if you do trigger them will hopefully open your eyes up. Open your eyes up to the fact that this actually spreads stigma, spreads misinformation about anxiety disorders, eating disorders, substance abuse, trauma disorders. And that's something that we should not be okay with out here. We cannot be advocating for mental health, but then using the word triggered as a buzzword. That makes no sense. Please stop that. I hope that you don't take this video and react to it and talk about how she's triggered or anything like that. I am hoping that the people on the internet can be mature about this topic, and maybe it will open up a real conversation about how this should not be a goal to do to anyone, about how people spending their time online trying to trigger people is actually disgusting. It's gross. Fucking stop. And maybe you can just understand and see it in a different point of view. If you do see somebody out there that seems like they are triggered, the worst thing that you can do is start berating them or telling them that they must be triggered or an SJW. That just makes the situation a whole lot worse. And again, it just adds more stigma to them. You should not be trying to add stigma to people. You should not be trying to upset people on purpose. And again, triggered, not a buzzword. Triggered is something that I experience and have to fight from being every single day of my life. It's a hard fight. Some days I lose, most days I win. And on the days that I lose, you don't see me. So, I guess that's all I have to say about that. Again, I'm sure I'm going to have videos made of certain people that have been enjoying making videos on me being triggered and trying to upset me out here going, ha, she made a video about being triggered. Ha, look at her triggered. Ha, let's all make fun of the girl with the trauma disorder and try and trigger her. We're so cool. And honestly, if they do that, it'll just show you what type of people they are. You're not a good person. I hope that maybe now you can see it a little bit better because, again, anyone that's trying to put somebody like that into that emotional and mental and sometimes physical state, you suck. You're not a good person. Again, please do give the video a like if you enjoyed it. I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. Again, memberships are open. I'd love it if you would come and join us. I'm going to be doing members only streams once a week. Once I get, enough members in that it matters. So I'm guessing it probably won't happen for a few weeks. It's because I have no faith in myself and my channel apparently. stay tuned for that. And no matter where you are, what you're doing, I hope that you have a fabulous, fabulous day. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. And again, please, just stop trying to trigger everyone. And stop using it as a buzzword. You're not a good person. Okay? Thanks.
These bitches wish they was me. They wish they could lay down this beat. They wish they were so sassy. Wish they were so pretty. So they play with me. I got the droll. They gotta scroll. We ain't the same ho. You gotta go. Check your role. You just there to be a shield. They get in the wrong field. Lay them minds down and you blow. It's not a big deal though. I'm the one they want to know. I'm the one they want to show.